Okay, so this is a video on the ellipse and the construction using the 4-point method. Okay, so I have an ellipse with a axis of 120 and 80. Okay, so my longer axis is 120, my shorter axis is 80. I've already drawn them, and then we can just start with the construction. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to combine two of the sides of the axis. So it does not matter where you combine it. You can do it on this side or on that side. I will be doing it on this side for a change. Okay, so, and this is all construction, so light construction lines. Combining the two sides, then I will set my compass on the center point and extend it to the edge of my axis, so right to the edge. I will then draw an arc like that, and I will, in construction, extend my center line. So this is not a center line, this is a construction line. The center line is only the size of the axis. Okay, so those are in construction. Then I'm going to set my compass to, okay, so I'm going to set it on the point of my axis where my line is combined from then my vertical axis, and I'll extend my compass to where my arc meets my extended line from my axis. I will then do an arc touching my connecting line. Then from there on I need to bisect the distance between the arc that I just constructed and the edge of my horizontal axis, this line. So I need to bisect that line. So I need to then set my compass to larger than center. Okay, so the larger than the center of the line, that's more than the center of the line. And I'll do an arc on this side and an arc on that side. You can do the full arc, but it is unnecessary and it is just too many lines on your page at the end of the day. Leaving my compass on that distance, I will set it on where this arc connects to my line. So move my page a little. You can see the line is very light. I'll redo that line now. Okay, there and there. So that is where they connect. Okay, I just want to show you guys exactly where this line is coming from. So from there, just making mine a little bit darker so that you can see it. Okay, so then my bisection, I'm going to set my ruler so that my line will go through the bisection and it needs to touch my vertical axis. Okay, so it goes through the two bisecting arcs and then touching my vertical axis. It will be lower or higher than your vertical axis, which is, this is the end of my vertical axis. Okay, so you can see that it is a little bit lower than that line. Okay, so that is now my one radii point. This is my one radii point, and that is my other radii point that I'm going to use. I now need to transfer them to the opposite sides of my horizontal and vertical lines. So this one, from my center point, set it to where my bisecting line intersects my horizontal axis, and then I'm just transferring that distance to the opposite side of my horizontal axis. I'm going to do the same for the vertical axis, so setting it where the bisecting line touches my extended part of my axis, and I'm going to scribe it to the opposite side of my vertical axis. So these are now my 4 radii points that I'm going to work with. Now you must take into account that you are setting it on the radii point, but only extending it to the edge of my axis. So setting it on the radii point, which is lower than my axis, but I will only extend it to my axis, and this is for the vertical axis. Okay, so for the vertical axis I go to opposite sides. So there I go, and then if I did my transfer correctly, I won't have to move my compass and the distance will be correct. Okay, so like that. Okay, so there is my two arcs. I might have to extend them a little bit if I see now where my lines are going to be at. So now for my horizontal axis, I set it on my radar point, and now instead of going to the opposite side of my axis, I will go to the same side. So that is for the longer axis, which in this situation is my vertical axis. Okay, let's just check here. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, that's just my daughter calling me. Okay, like that. Okay. And then just want to connect them there. Okay. Just want to erase this one because I see it's not 100% on point. Okay, setting it on point, extending it there, and there. Touches. Whenever your lines does this, you'll just have to erase there and redo that point so that the ellipse becomes one. It must not have two lines that goes over each other. And that is your construction for an ellipse.